Meme stocks, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, financial literacy is pretty much in demand these days. And of course, trying to find a place to get that kind of information and make educated investment decisions, really hard to find, but more places than ever to go. And one of those places is YouTube. And one of the influencers on YouTube that clearly has a following is Brian Jung. And he joins us to talk about all things Bitcoin, all things crypto, all things meme stocks, all things that all of us are trying to understand and figure out. So, Brian, for starters, I mean, just talk to me a little bit about the kind of advice that people are looking for when they are looking to tune into you.
What I've noticed within at least my industry and the audience that have, really started following me alongside this journey is that many investors are pretty much brand new to the scene. They don't really know where to start. They don't know the basics of investing. And they're really out here because they heard from a friend or a family member about some of those meme stocks or even cryptocurrencies. And simply, people just want to make money in today's era. And I think one of the biggest questions that I'm getting from people right now is, when to invest, when to get started with some of these positions, and what's going to be the next stock or crypto that pops off.
How do you convey that? I mean, obviously those are the questions. Those are the questions that everybody wants to know. What are your answers to those types of questions?
Yeah, so it's really just dependent on the situation. As you know, within this past year, we've seen AMC come and go, GME come and go, which then flatlined for a few months. And then just recently, we've seen it pop off. Lately, when people ask me what the next thing or what the next investment that's going to pop off and do well is going to be, I just tell them, hey, right now, with so many things going on in the market, we're going to have to look at a few things. If you had asked me a few weeks back before the crypto market had taken its reset, I would have said some of these cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, some of the ones that I talk a lot about on my channel, Chainlink, Cardano, just because we've been seeing a lot of these, what we call altcoins in the market, just surging. Since we've had the crypto market sort of pulling back a bit right now with AMC, GME going up, I personally tell my audience when they ask me what the next crypto or what the next stock to pop off is going to be. I think for me, we're going to start seeing a cycle of this money going around. And while AMC is still getting that momentum behind it, I think naturally that money is going to flow into other altcoins again and hopefully back into crypto.
Now you're down in Miami. You are attending Bitcoin 2021. So that's pretty self-explanatory. It's a huge conference. Now tell me, what do you hope to get from being there? What do you hope to learn? What do you think people are going to get from conversations potentially with you?
Yeah, so this is actually one of the largest cryptocurrency conferences to exist. They have Tony Hawk, Floyd Mayweather, out of all the people are going to be here speaking as well. They have some governors. And for me personally, I just got invited to this conference to check it out, tell some of my subscribers. But some of the things that I really aim to get out of this is to first network with like-minded individuals. If you've been invested into cryptocurrency, you would know that it's been a roller coaster. It's been incredible. It's been tough. So just, coming here, seeing all the other individuals who have been going through the same things is huge for me, just because I can network with others. But, most importantly, I think this year, especially with Bitcoin conference and coming out of the pandemic, it's just going to be a good opportunity for a lot of us to come together and just, relax and have a good time and to celebrate at least some of the wins that we've seen, at least within this past bull run.
And there's definitely been some wins. I mean, we were talking actually to a gentleman who invested all of his money in Dogecoin and is quite happy about it at the moment. But I mean, what is the difference, or where do you draw the line between the educational component of cryptocurrencies, of Bitcoin, of the operations of how the mechanics work around these types of digital assets versus just the idea that they want to just make money. They want it to buy at a certain level and have it go higher.
Yeah, so that's a really good question. And that's a struggle that I see a lot of my audience having right now. And that's because people can't really differentiate the difference between, an established crypto with strong use case versus a meme coin that is simply going up because of hype. I try to tell my audience and I try to teach people, at least on my channel, doing the proper due diligence and giving the right information. But it can be a fine line between educating and a little bit of gambling, because there is so much volatility, and some of these cryptos and some of these assets really have just, I would say a little bit of a higher risk, and it's not going to be around forever, in my opinion, especially with some of these lower cap altcoins that we're seeing people make a lot of money from. The other side of it is there are people who are losing money. There are people who do face some of that risk and that downside, that negativity with it. But for the most part, as long as people are educated, that they know like some of these cryptos, like Dogecoin is not necessarily, one of the higher use case cryptos, but right now it's getting pumped. The price has been going up due to the market sentiment of just overall people knowing socially more about the crypto, wanting to get in, wanting to make more money.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Certainly Elon Musk likes Dogecoin, that's for sure. Now, your background, if I'm not mistaken, actually started off in terms of just giving advice in terms of credit cards, debt, and then it's kind of morphed into this more, looking at the markets more broadly and advice. Maybe talk a little bit about your background and more curiously, how did you end up amassing almost 1 million followers on YouTube?
So I started YouTube about 3 years ago. And when I first did, I never had, first of all, the intention of being in this situation that I'm in right now. So I'm so thankful to my audience and my subscribers who have helped me come to, allow me to be where I am today, even like being at this conference and meeting some fans in real life, which is absolutely just unreal to me. I never expect that. So in my course of being a YouTuber, initially starting off in the credit card space, I found myself, doing fairly well in there, knowing the market, building a strong community. And just recently we were featured on the Netflix Explain documentary as a credit card hacker and helping other people who were watching that series. But for me, I've always been someone who realized, look, there are going to be trends that come and go, and there are going to be skills that I need to learn in order to make sure that I can adapt as a creator. So over the past 3 years, I just continue to learn more content, immerse myself in the community, and through trial and error and even my own investing mistakes I've made, I've just learned to really take that experience and then share it with others. And slowly, I'm not exactly sure why so many people have subscribed to me at this point, but I've always focused on at least giving value as much as I can to people, no matter how much time it takes me, no matter how much research I can do. If I can teach someone who may have been in my situation a year or so back, that I know that could be life-changing. I know that type of information can make a lot of people money. So just being consistent, I think, allowed me to, gather as many subscribers as I have now. But really, it's a good question. I haven't really figured out exactly why I got that many followers, but I'm just truly grateful for it.
Perhaps there's a difference between giving advice and sharing experience. And it seems like in a lot of cases, you are sharing your experiences. Is that accurate?
Yeah, definitely. Because when you're trying to make content on some of these things, I think experience is really the first hand. Like I have some videos on YouTube that have over 1 million views. And one of them is like a Coinbase tutorial video. I've been using their product since 2018. And I was teaching people how to use it, how I got started when I was a college student. And I think that just resonates with people because it's coming from my experience. It's not just a tutorial video that Coinbase is making to whatever, maybe get more users. I did it. I made money through cryptocurrencies. I want to teach other people how to do the same.
Very good. So last question. I mean, there's a lot going on in the markets. That's clearly what TheStreet's focused on, including TheStreet. What is your focus? What do you think? Where would you put your money right now?
For me, I always believe there's going to be a cycle of the money right now, especially because of how strong the social community has become, especially on Reddit, on YouTube, wherever you want to look. So right now we're seeing the surge of AMC and GME. They've been doing well. Today we're having a little bit of a slight pullback, but in terms of the overall growth in the past week, it's absolutely mind-blowing. And it doesn't look like the momentum of that is yet slowing down. So right now I've still been entering additional positions into AMC, GME, but I do know that we're going to see a cycle. So if we hope on the shorts getting covered and that short squeeze actually happening, then I believe we're going to see a cycle of that money re-entering the crypto market where the FUD has died down a little bit within the past few weeks since Elon Musk's tweet and his concern over Bitcoin and Tesla's acceptance for that cryptocurrency. I think the big thing that we should all be on the lookout for is this money going straight back into crypto, maybe seeing some of these lower cap altcoins coming back up and seeing a re-emergence in that space. As a crypto influencer and YouTuber, and as someone who's been really taking a deep dive into the technical analytics of what we may encounter in the near future, man, I'm telling you, a lot of people don't really know what may happen in crypto. But if we take a step back and look at where the overall flow of the money is going, we know that a mass majority of that may be made right now with some of these stocks. And generally, people want to keep riding that momentum. They're going to believe that, hey, I had so much good luck with this initial stock that they're going to want to put that back into either crypto, which is the next thing I believe on my list, aside from some of those other short squeeze companies too, that I believe may be a next target for Wall Street bets. But overall, I'm keeping my eyes out on crypto, and I believe that could have a strong resurgence later this year.
Now, there's a difference between technical, fundamental, and then value. Now, you're talking all technical. Is that kind of the theme right now for a lot of these folks, or are there fundamentals behind this stuff?
Yeah. So, here's what I recommend to my audience. There are people who focus tremendously on the technical aspect. I believe you should be a well-rounded investor, meaning fundamentals is going to help you decide which project, which crypto, which stock to enter. The technicals is going to help you find when that time to enter is going to be. So as a newer investor, most of them aren't going to want to do their due diligence naturally, just because more people are focused on making that money. With AMC, GME as an example, those technical and fundamental analysis that most experts would perform, they really don't, I wouldn't say they're accurate, but they're not going to be the most optimized right now for this situation, only because technicals just take a pattern of behavior from the past, just so we can get an expectation or what we may see in the near future. I think right now, as an investor, especially for our newer folks, the value is there, but the big thing right now is just knowing the reason why you're investing. Because in terms of the technical and fundamentals for AMC, nothing really exists other than the reason, the purpose of a short squeeze possibly happening. There's an argument that, there are other experts saying that, this is only going up because retail investors are trading it. But based on data that we've seen within this past year, it's just clear, it's undeniable. And especially with data points that we saw with GME, a stock like AMC right now is going up for that purpose, the short squeeze, shorts getting covered. And I believe if we focus on just being a well-rounded investor, you don't have to be a full technical analysis. You don't have to be a full fundamental analysis. Be a round plate of it, and you can still find yourself having success in this market.
Everything in moderation, for sure. Brian, Jung, thank you very much for joining us. And everything in moderation at Bitcoin 21. Don't party too hard.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.